Do you want to get a lot of kills in Warzone? Well, watch this video because I'm going to tell you how to get most kills in Warzone. Welcome back to COD Trendy. Let's get into the video. Number 10, run enemies over with vehicles. This tip might be controversial because most players don't respect kills as much as with vehicles as they do with weapons. However, because of how the mechanics of the vehicles work in Warzone, running other players over with cars or even helicopters is one of the easiest ways to get kills. A lot of players stand out in the open while looting or running across the map, so driving over players is extremely easy in most situations, and can sometimes even be accomplished more easily than killing them with a gun. This should definitely be taken into consideration if a player is trying to get more kills. A lot of players don't know how easy getting kills in vehicles can be, so hopefully fans of the game will now realize the vehicle's full potential. Number 9, customize loadouts whenever new items are unlocked. Every player customizes their loadout to some extent. However, a lot of players neglect it when they unlock new weapons. It's important that every time a player gets a new attachment for their favorite weapon or a new piece of equipment, they put it in their loadout so they have the most powerful set possible. This will help ensure that every player has the best set of weapons that they possibly can within the Battle Royale, so they can easily decimate their enemies during gunfights. Number 8, hot drop on enemies. Lots of players don't hot drop on enemies as much as they should. Dropping straight near another player and then immediately attempting to kill them can catch them by surprise and score the kill for the player. It's worth noting that this should only be attempted on solo mode, because it will be unfair to the player's teammates if they die at the start of the match. It's definitely worth keeping in mind that hot dropping can surprise other players and get the kill more easily than other methods. Hot dropping is something that every player who has kills should be doing. However, it is also important to not land straight on an enemy that has recently picked up a gun. Number 7, stay close to teammates when playing trios or squads. When playing trios or squads, players should always be staying close to teammates and not straying too far away from their team. The reason that this will help them get kills is because if the player is trying to go after an enemy and there is more than just one, then the player probably won't be able to take down many of them without dying. Staying together and being grouped up is essential for getting the most kills for any player or squad, but unfortunately many teams stray from each other and get wiped out before getting the chance to kill any enemies. Number 6, utilize grenades to their full potential. Every player uses a grenade from time to time, but most don't utilize them to their full potential. Frag grenades are powerful for getting kills, especially if the player knows how to time them just right and throw them on windows where enemies are in a confined space. The best way to properly use grenades is to wait until the player has an enemy backed into a corner and throw a frag to either blow them up or force them out into the open. Never throw grenades in a location where they can be easily thrown back, such as an open field. It is also worth noting that the other equipment such as C4 can easily blow up vehicles in one shot, and it should always be used if there is a car coming towards the player because it will score them an instant kill. Number 5, avoid taking weapons that are lower tier and attempt to learn how to use guns outside the comfort zone. Weapons that are a lower tier can sometimes be useful, however a lot of players just take whichever is their favorite gun. What players should instead be doing is attempting to utilize and practice with every gun so they can take the best piece of equipment that they can possibly find. Too many players take their favorite gun that is of gray or green tier instead of taking a gold gun that they may not know how to use. Learning every type of gun in the game is important to any player that wants to have a good KD ratio. Number 4, use dark outfits. Using dark costumes is important so that the player isn't seen while sniping or hiding from an enemy. It also helps while blending in, and players will be able to more easily camp and secure kills that way. It is common for players to equip the best looking costume that they have, but in a Battle Royale mode that is usually a death sentence, specifically if that costume is colorful. Because of how many times players are trying to camp and enemies end up finding them, it's worth not using the more colorful skins within the Battle Royale mode. Although this game isn't as colorful as some other Battle Royale games and a lot of the skins are darker themed, a lot of them are also very colorful and those should be avoided at all costs for players trying to score wins. Number 3, constantly check the minimap for enemy fire and vehicles. The minimap is important, and one thing that players may not know about it is that if they go into their settings menu, then they change it to square shaped instead of circle shaped. This will allow players to see more of the map around them. The minimap is essentially useful for vehicles that the player may not be able to hear around them. This is also a tip worth noting because a lot of players don't check the minimap as much as they should, and therefore don't see enemies that may be shooting nearby them. Utilizing the minimap will help get players a lot more kills and help them sneak up on unsuspecting enemies. Number 2, peek through doors instead of opening them. There are too many players in Warzone that run straight through doors, attracting enemies to the loud sound that it causes. They then lose the kill they are sneaking around to get because the enemy knows where they are. This can be completely avoided by instead aiming their weapon and peeking through the door, which will allow the player to open it slowly instead of quickly. Players should utilize this tip if they believe that nobody's around, because it's good to get into the headspace of peeking in doors instead of opening them. This will eliminate most of the sound that comes from opening doors. Number 1, play aggressively, but also camp when the situation calls for it. This is the most important tip to learn for any new Warzone player. Playing aggressively is a good idea sometimes. However, a lot of players try to push enemy teams in the wrong situations. Sometimes it's better to camp and wait for enemies to come to them. This tip is especially true in solo mode because players need to know that it's not always worth running into multiple enemies at once and potentially getting caught in the crossfire. Different situations call for different play styles, and learning not constantly to play aggressively or always hide is important for getting kills. This brings us into our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, so I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.